Hello everyone and welcome back. Let's talk about another classic medium problem on Leetcode today. Problem 36, Valid Sudoku. The problem asks us to determine if a 9 by 9 Sudoku board is valid. Only the filled cells need to be validated according to the following rules. Every row, column and each of the 9 3 by 3 sub boxes must have digits 1 to 9 without repetition. And then we are given these two important notes. First, a Sudoku board partially filled could be valid but is not necessarily solvable. So, we only care if the given Sudoku board is valid and doesn't break any rules. Second, only the filled cells need to be validated. So, empty cells marked with a dot can be ignored. Then in example 1, we have this board where dots represent the empty spaces and none of the filled values repeat either in any of the rows or columns or in any 3 by 3 sub boxes. And since no rules are broken, it is a valid Sudoku board and we return true. But in example 2, we have almost the same board, just that the 5 in the top left corner has been changed to 8. Since there are two 8s in the top left 3 by 3 sub box, this board is invalid and we return false. And lastly, the constraints confirm what we already see. The board always has exactly 9 rows. Each row always has exactly 9 columns and every cell is either a digit from 1 to 9 or a dot. So the board is always fixed at 9 by 9. Keep that in mind when we talk about different solutions and complexities. Now, in terms of the solution, the first thing to note is that we are just checking for duplicates. And you probably guessed it. A Hashset is perfect for this. It gives us O of 1 lookup time, helping us find if an element is a duplicate instantly. The simplest way to solve this is to run 3 completely separate passes over the board. First, we iterate through each row. We create a fresh Hashset to keep track of the numbers we have seen. When iterating, we will ignore the dots, and if we see a number already in our set, we return false. Otherwise, we add it to the set and keep moving. Next, we do the exact same thing for the columns. Finally, we do a third pass for the 9 3 by 3 sub boxes. This is a bit trickier because we need to define the boundaries for each box. To do this, we could use a nested loop where outer loops jump by 3 steps, specifically starting at indices 0, 3 and 6. These jumps help us find the top left corner of each individual box. From there, we use inner loops to iterate through that specific 3 by 3 grid itself, again using a Hashset to check for duplicates. The code for this approach is available in the code link in the description below. This approach is not bad. Since the board is always a fixed 9 by 9, the time and space complexity is technically O of 1. But if the board had n rows and columns, it would be O of n squared. Even though this approach is correct and easy to reason about, scanning the entire board 3 separate times does feel redundant. Can we do it in one pass? And the answer is yes. We can actually validate the entire board in a single scan. Let's see how. Instead of creating one Hashset at a time for a row, we will maintain a collection of them. 9 sets for the rows, 9 sets for the columns, and 9 sets for the 3 by 3 boxes. We will shortly see how we will use these arrays of sets. In Python, setting this up is incredibly clean. We just initialize 3 default dictionaries of sets. As we visit each cell at coordinates R, C, we can easily get its row, its column, and its 3 by 3 box all at once. Since we know the cell's row index R, we can immediately check if that row's Hashset already contains our current number. If it does, we return false. If it doesn't, we add the number to the set. For example, we start with cell 00. Here we have the element 5 and since it is not in row 0 set yet, we add it to the set. We do the exact same thing for the column set collection. We add 5 to the column 0 set as it does not exist in it yet. While finding the row and column is easy, here comes a real challenge. How do we identify exactly which 3 by 3 box a cell at RC belongs to? The trick is integer division. If we divide the row index by 3 and the column index by 3, we get the coordinates of the box. In Python, we can just use those calculated coordinates as a tuple key to represent each 3 by 3 box in our dictionary. For example, for cell 00, it will belong to the box 00, that is top left box. Since 5 is not in the top left box set, we add the element 5 to this set. Let's take some more examples to understand it better. If we are at row 2, column 1, 2 divided by 3 is 0 and 1 divided by 3 is also 0. So, we know that this cell belongs to box 00 as well. Similarly, if we were at row 4, column 5, 4 divided by 3 is 1 and 5 divided by 3 is also 1, meaning that it belongs to the middle box at 1, 1. Now that we know how to identify our rows, columns and 3 by 3 boxes, the logic from here is straightforward. If we see a repetition in any of these 27 sets, we return false. Otherwise, we add the current element to its respective sets. And in the end, if we cannot find any duplicates across the whole board, we return true. Applying this to our board, moving further to cell 01, we see a 3. First, we check the row 0 set, and since 3 is not there, we add it. Next, we check the column 1 set and add it here as well. Finally, we check box 00 and add the 3 to that set as well. We keep going. In this example, there is no duplicate, so we would return true. But if we ever hit a cell with a duplicate, let's say we found another 5 in this top left box, our logic catches it in the set and immediately returns false. As for complexity, since the board size is strictly fixed at 9 by 9, both time and space are technically O of 1. However, if we were dealing with a n by n Sudoku board, it would be O of n squared time to visit every cell and O of n squared space to store the elements in our sets. This is similar to 3-pass solution, but the 1-pass solution is elegant. Now, if we look at the Java code, doing this exact same logic, it is not quite as elegant because Java does not have default dictionaries or built-in tuples. We have to manually initialize a 2D array of Hashsets, which requires a lot of boilerplate code. But what if I told you there is a completely different, much more elegant trick, one that works in any language, including Java? We will use just a single hash set instead of 27 different ones and do it all in one pass. Let's explore that. The idea is simple. Instead of maintaining separate sets for rows, columns, and boxes, we encode each rule check as a unique string or tuple and add everything into just one set. For example, when we see the 5 at row 0, column 0, we create 3 specific strings: 5 in row 0, 5 in column 0, and 5 in box 00. Since these strings do not exist in the set yet, we add all 3 of them into our single set. Next, we move to cell 01. We see a 3. We generate its strings: 3 in row 0, 3 in column 1, and 3 in box 00. Since none of these exist in the set either, we add them. We continue this process across the board, simply ignoring any empty dots like the one at cell 02. But suppose we hit another 5 later in row 0, then we would construct the string 5 in row 0 again. When we try to add it, our hash set will see that this exact string is already inside. In Java, the set.add method conveniently returns false if the item is already there. So by placing a not operator in front of it, if the addition fails, the statement becomes true. We instantly catch the duplicate and we return false. If we process the whole board without any of these strings colliding, our board is valid and we return true. In Python, we do the exact same thing, but use tuples instead of strings, like the tuple 5 row 0. So we simply check if the tuple is already in our set before adding it. Now, string concatenation inside a nested loop can be slightly slower and use a bit more memory compared to the 27 set approach. But this is a brilliant minimal code solution to pull out in an interview. So that's all for this video. I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from it. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss an update. Your support helps me create more content like this. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.